What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. And I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris Adam One, and welcome to another fabulous episode of this podcast, episode 91, I believe. How y'all living? I'm living swell. Feel free, be sure to hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Share this live stream with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Let's get this podcast, this YouTube channel, this live stream lit in the YouTube podcast algorithm. You heard me? To my graveyard crew, welcome back. All right, to my early morning crew that's just now getting up to start the journey, to start the grind. I really do appreciate you guys, coming hollering at seeing your boy before you start your amazing journey. I hope everyone has a fabulous, glorious holiday weekend. Hope everyone drives safe. I hope everyone gets back to their regular scheduled programming, which is called life. Some people might be coming back Monday, others might be coming back Tuesday, might have an extension on this weekend, this upcoming weekend. You hear me? Really do appreciate everyone that's been following me, my day ones, my people who just spotted my YouTube channel. Also support my other social media profiles. They're in the link below. Okay. Got all that stuff out of the way. Let's begin. All right. We only got one topic today. One topic only. I really do appreciate that. And news was kind of light this week, but nevertheless, I'm the best. Like, let's digress. This article is coming from a podcast. I was, I was reading the article, and I clicked to the podcast to look at the podcast itself. It's on YouTube. I will try to do my best to link everything in the comment section for you guys. But this article is coming is basically talking about this interview that Angela White did on this podcast. I forgot the name of the podcast. I really do apologize. Now, Angela White, aka Blac Chyna, if you're not familiar, get familiar. She talked about her life journey, her ups, her downs, and how she has, filtered through those different types of phases, different types of relationships, different types of things that she's been that has entered into her life. She also talked about her relationship with her estranged mother, and she talked about her faith. She's now leaning towards religion heavily. Ever since she's been baptized, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not, if I'm correct. She talked about this new journey, as well as rebranding herself. She's no longer using the moniker Blac Chyna, and she's introducing the world to her actual maiden name, which is Angela White. Which is that in a nutshell is crazy. Okay. um her actual name is Angela White, but her stage name, the name that she's been heavily using, most of her life, is Blac Chyna. Angela White, meaning pure, honest, authentic. Blac Chyna is, coming from, a darker perspective, a sinister perspective. It's like, Angela White is Luke Skywalker and Blac Chyna is Darth Vader. Okay, if I want to paraphrase. But anyway, let's get into the article, well, this interview itself. And she talked about uh, the introduction to her life. Now, if you're not familiar with Angela White, aka Blac Chyna's story, and like I said, on my audio podcast. This is a journey that a lot of people can learn from. I feel like if and it really doesn't matter your demographic, your age group, your religious group, your political side, or whatever. I think everyone can, just listen to her story, and you can learn a lot from her story. All right, this is easily going to be a lifetime story. Once, I feel like 5 or 10 years from now, um, or a BET story, something like that. Hollywood is begging for, new challenges and new stories instead of recycling the same old stuff that works in Hollywood. Like, I just found out they're going to do a Twister. That was back in the 80s. We all know the Terminator movies, the James Bond movies, superhero. It's just, Hollywood is a copy and paste. They're in a copy and paste situation. Let's do, or I just know Bad Boys is coming out this weekend. Where we are on Bad Boys, like 4 5. Okay. It's, when is enough is enough. When we're going to start, you know doing movies and doing stories that are authentic, that are original. Beverly Hills Cop is has a sequel coming to Netflix. Okay, Eddie Murphy is reprising his role as Axel Foley on Beverly Hills Cop. But when you pay attention to the Angela White story, of course, people automatically, assume that this is not going to be a very entertaining story. This is not going to be a very informational story. It's going to be a very tragic, dark story, sinister type story. And I feel like that is casual. From a casual perspective, you're just going to, read the titles, the clippings, and you're just going to take things throughout moments in her life that you're going to say to yourself, well, this is not going to be a very entertaining story. It's not going to be a very challenging story, or, something I can learn a thing or two from. Um, but, she did, open up in this interview, and those know, and I feel like she's introducing a different side and a different perspective of she's telling the whole truth about her. And what's the old adage? Don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell no truths about you. She told all truths, and this is the first time I have seen Angela White, aka Blac Chyna, open up so much. And it really shows a sign of maturity from her perspective, that she has really gathered wisdom through her trials and tribulations, or her life journeys. And she started, you know particularly in this interview, she started from the intro. Every book has an intro before, an introduction, before you start reading chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, so forth and so on. All right. And she basically, in her introduction, saying, hey, look, I graduated high school, I was going to college. Okay. And I had to find something that was going to pay for myself, my tuition, and for college expenses and things of that nature. She chose to become a stripper. Now, a lot of people would say, well, why, be a stripper? Okay, there are so many other ways you can take care of yourself without going down that road. You can just get a regular 9 to 5, like at McDonald's, or, working at Macy's, or, Best Buy, or Publix, or Kroger, whatever. Okay. She could have easily, gotten a regular job like the rest of us. Okay. I feel like Angela White, aka Blac Chyna, we're gonna just use the Blac Chyna name from here on out instead of saying the whole thing. Okay. Um, you have to understand people make decisions on people uh when it comes to their decision making. A lot of people just in retrospect uh make their decisions off their parents mistakes, or what would they parents do in that case. Hold on one second, guys. For an example, okay. I feel like I feel like most people would, follow the same trail, or follow the same trail or the same pathway, like like their parents or like their cousins or their uncles or their aunties, and they'll follow that path because they feel like that's the normal path, that's the safest path. Like if your parents were minimum wage workers that worked at fast food or restaurants, and there were no real options out there. You say to yourself, okay, that's, my parents did it when they were young, so it has to be, that has to be a good idea because my parents did it in the beginning of their life. Why can't it work for me? Then you have some parents that worked in factories and warehouses, and well, your kids, because you're going to be the first adults kids are going to mimic, okay? And then they'll say, okay, well, that worked for my parents, why it won't work for me? And you have some parents that come from, that have military backgrounds. Well, their kids, when they grow up and they graduate and they try to figure out they'll probably say, well, the military worked for them, how come it couldn't work for me? In Angela White, aka Blac Chyna's situation, her mother was a stripper, also a corn star, and like I said, our parents are our heroes. Our parents are where we get, when at a very young age, we just assume that's uh, that's the whole meaning of life. Whatever works for them should work and apply for you. Now, of course, there are a couple of examples of, you know just because your parents started this way, there are some examples where, you know kids at a younger age say, well, I just, want to do better than my parents. I would rather go to college to get a better education, to get a degree, to do something different. Okay. And there's a lot of cases that way, but there's also a lot of cases where, you know as kids, we see other things that may not, that we, enlighten and say, okay, I want to do that. Like if if you see, if you're consumed around people in your environment selling drugs or being in gangs, or we sometimes kids mirror a lot of things that they see either on television, real life, or through their parents. With Angela White, that's what she saw. She said to herself, well, if my mother can become a stripper and do corn, then why can't I? And Angela White said that that's her introduction to um, adult type of content. Um, you know, uh, Going to strip clubs, working at strip clubs, and that's where she got the name Blac Chyna. And she was very successful as a stripper in a lot of famous strip clubs in the ATL. Um, And that's where, a lot of producers, a lot of record producers, a lot of rappers, you know, started noticing Blac Chyna. And then Blac Chyna went from the stripper phase into, um, and that's when the internet was starting to pop and starting to boom. That's when you started getting the world stars. You're getting a crash course of the world star. You're getting, Facebook was just now starting its groove. You started getting all of these other social media applications, and that's when that was the introduction before we know of social media today. It was starting to head down that path. So Blac Chyna was featured in like a lot of viral videos and a lot of viral clips of the world stars and things of that nature. Started um, being a video vixen model. She was in a lot of music videos, underground music videos, as well as popular music videos that you see on BET and MTV and things of that nature. And that's when she started getting extremely popular and streaming and demanding. She started to uh, she went from stripping to video vixing a little bit. She was promoted in different clubs. That's how she started her early grind. She started, and I feel like in entertainment, there's like underground entertainment, and then the entertainment that that is glorified through the TMZs and things of that nature. I feel like there was a lot of celebrities, B-list celebrities and A-list celebrities, all knew who Blac Chyna was. There was a lot of songs, a lot of rap songs that that had Blac Chyna in their lyrics. Okay, she's so she's been around, but a thing about Blac Chyna was, her name started to get popular and popular by introducing Blac Chyna into different phases of entertainment. Where she didn't have to really heavily rely on stripping, and she started noticing that she was starting to build a foundation as far as her image, her likeness, and she started noticing that, hey, this could be an actual career. You know, I'm making more money doing these other facets of entertainment rather than just solely basing it on stripping. A lot of clubs would open and they would book Blac Chyna. A lot of strip clubs would book Blac Chyna. Okay, because her name started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that was the introduction to Blac Chyna, and she started getting famous, and off and her popularity started getting bigger and bigger. And like I said, she started, transitioning into entertainment. A lot of big name actors and actresses knew who Blac Chyna was. A lot of athletes knew who Blac Chyna was. She started associating herself or collaborating with a lot of these entities and a lot of these celebrities to even build her brand more. The thing about a lot of things, the thing about Blac Chyna was a lot of people don't give Blac Chyna her just due. She was she was the first when it comes to being a celebrity, but being a celebrity with no talent. No disrespect to Blac Chyna, but Blac Chyna wasn't what casual talent. You know, talent that people things you do that people identify that is talented. Like Blac Chyna was never a good, great, or she wasn't a good, great, or average actor or actress. Blac Chyna was never a good, great, dancer, even though she, was a stripper. But stripping ain't technically that dancing to the casual eye that think what dancing's supposed to be. You know, Blac Chyna was never a musician. She was never a rapper. Now later on, she gravitated into music. We'll talk about that a little bit later. She wasn't a, a singer. She wasn't on Ashanti or Mariah Carey or God rest her soul, Whitney Houston. Um, China, the reason why China was so popular and the reason why we consider China, Blac Chyna, a celebrity is because of her image and her popularity. All right, because of her name and because of what she has done with that name. She she was the first celebrity that didn't have any actual talent that we consider to have that we imply that who we think that is popular or who we think that is celebrity. She was the first to do that. Now I know a lot of people think it was Kim Kardashian. Blac Chyna was before Kim Kardashian. Blac Chyna made it cool to be popular without having any talent. Okay, she was the first to do that, not Kim Kardashian. Um, I'm trying to think of the lady, the bald headed lady that dated Kanye West. I had her name in my head. I forgot her name. But she ushered in a lot of those type of personalities that were famous because of their image on social media or on the interwebs. Amber Rose, that's the person I'm trying to think of. Amber Rose. So, and Melissa Ford, where these women are popular because of their image and because of a lot of people think that they're beautiful and attractive. Okay. So a lot of people don't give Blac Chyna her credit that she was pretty much on the forefront of being famous without being in a successful movie, sitcom, or having a successful album or a successful tour or have any credence of talent other than looking exquisitely beautiful. That's what if you want to call if if you want to call being attractive is a talent. I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm not going to co-sign to that either. But nevertheless, that's who Blac Chyna was. She was the first to do that. Another thing that a lot of people don't give Blac Chyna a lot of credit, and people don't really talk about this, is Blac Chyna started the era of collaborations, collaborating with other entities. I think Blac Chyna, now I'm pretty sure it has been done in the before Blac Chyna, but Blac Chyna made it popping and popular and that's hot to link herself with people that are already popular, and she ushered in the collaboration phase. Now, when you look at social media today, that's all a lot of these so-called quote unquote celebrities and entertainers, particularly social media influencers, they collaborate with other social media influencers or comedians or musicians or rappers or singers or models or whoever. You know, Blac Chyna, if you look at Blac Chyna as an entrepreneur, her mind was always running on a different level than anybody else. She was always one step, two steps ahead of everyone else. Um, where she made it cool to collaborate, and she made it also cool and interesting to be a celebrity, but you don't have any real talent. That's uh, you know, those are the two things a lot of people don't give Blac Chyna credit for. Okay, so um, back to the Blac Chyna story. And like I said, Blac Chyna was a step ahead of everyone else. Okay, She started as a stripper, and then she started, you know, building her brand by appearing in a lot of viral videos, a lot of music videos. It was cool to put Black China in your lyrics, like Nia Long and the Cherry Thong. Um, she also was, I'm not saying that she was the first, but she probably did it better as far as promotions go, promoting herself with different clubs and different strip clubs, and she would make it a in thing to do tours at these different spots. And she would make money on it. Now it's you know you know now it's in the DNA of any social media influencer, of any OnlyFans model, whatever you want to label yourself. You know, they book themselves at a lot of these events, and that's how they make their money. Okay, and Black China was doing that and doing that well. But like I said, Black China was always two steps ahead of the curve when it comes to entertainment. And uh, Black China had relationships with different celebrities or different people that were connected with to other celebrities in entertainment. All right. And she utilized those relationships to build her image and liking. And we're about to go into this next phase. Um, Black China was really she was the first before even networks that were thinking ahead of the time. Now, I remember when Television had Keeping Up with the Kardashians. ETV, Television, I think that's what it was. And they were the first to have this, to introduce reality TV. And the Kardashians, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, was a extremely popular show. And it was a first of its kind. And Keeping Up with the Kardashians was like the introduction to reality TV. Now there was other shows that had reality TV components in it. There were other dating shows like Flavor of Love that had the symmetry of reality TV in it. One thing about TV, I like how they call it reality TV, but it's not really reality. It's really heavily scripted. But that neither goes here nor there. ETV, you know, uh, believed in the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and people would tune in by the millions to watch this show. And Black China, once again, was always two steps ahead of it, and she had a huge relationship, and she idolized Kim Kardashian, and she idolized Kim Kardashian's mom, and how she got Kim Kardashian so popular. Okay, and um, and and Black China appreciated that. Okay, she had a connection with this family, but you know, uh, at a distance, they all knew who Black China was, but they wasn't trying to associate themselves with Black China because Black China is down here and the Kardashians are up here. They really didn't need Black China, but Black China needed the Kardashians more. So even though Kim and Chloe and the mother, they all knew who Black China was, and they started well, accepting her into her family because of Black China's relationship with her actual mother, Tokyo Tony. And look, to me, it's amazing how these two women came with their alter ego names. Tokyo Tony, uh, that's a very clever name that a lot of people don't give her credit. And Black China is a heavily origin clever name. Now everybody utilizes Black China. Okay, so yeah, that's how that worked. All right, so um like I said, the Kardashians knew who Blac Chyna was. They respected Blac Chyna and her situation. They and everything is family with the Kardashians, and they knew that Blac Chyna really didn't have a connection with her mother at that time, so they kind of felt sorry for Blac Chyna, and and they knew who she was, but they would never have Blac Chyna on their show, which was a number one show. Because from their component, they're looking at it as we really don't need Blac Chyna, but Blac Chyna definitely needed them, and she would make it. Particularly on social media. Well, that's when it was the internet. Then the internet phased into social media, and she let it be known that she had a connection with the Kardashians, and but the Kardashians never denied it. Okay, they didn't co-sign it, but they never denied it. So, uh, the Kardashians used to have Rob Kardashian heavily in the early goings of Keeping Up with the Kardashians until Rob Kardashian was seen less and less, and he just really didn't want to do the show. And that's another time for another day. Rob Kardashian was never. He was more of a private type of person, and he was never the type of person that wanted cameras around him. He didn't want the glamorous life of Hollywood. Now he reaped the rewards and the benefits of the Kardashians being the Kardashians. He didn't mind spending the money. He didn't mind going to different trips and buying different cars and jewelry and things of that nature. He just did not respect the work as far as reality TV and building your brand and building your name on the internet and social media. He didn't want to do all that stuff. Rob Kardashian was really a private person. Now, uh, and Blac Chyna knew this, and Blac Chyna started to develop a relationship with Rob Kardashian. And they started off as friends. And, Rob Kardashian during his time with the Keeping Up with the Kardashians started to develop some bad traits and some bad habits. And Rob Kardashian even said this came out of his own mouth. Blac Chyna was the even though the family tried, Rob Kardashian just didn't listen. And he said Blac Chyna was one of the reasons why he sobered up and started getting cleaned up, started to lose weight because Blac Chyna was considered a friend to him. Now, I really do feel like a lot of people don't give. I mean, I really do think Blac Chyna was concerned for Rob Kardashian, had that sister and brother bond situation, and she really wanted the best for Rob Kardashian. And I really do believe Blac Chyna when she says that. However, Blac Chyna was thinking in the back of her mind, well, this can also help my image and help me, uh, de- develop a better relationship with the Kardashians. Because if I'm in Rob Kardashian's life and they see me do this and see me putting in the work, I might be in their good graces. Now, and at a time, she started to build trust with the rest of the Kardashians. Rob Kardashian started, as well as Blac Chyna, started to develop an actual relationship. And they started going together. And then, Rob Kardashian got Blac Chyna pregnant. Now, two things can be certain. You can have two different beliefs, even though one belief is two things can be certain. I really do think Blac Chyna has some type of emotion and feelings towards Rob Kardashian, but I also feel like Blac Chyna was using this opportunity to build herself. Okay. So two things can be certain and two things can be true. And when she found out she was pregnant by Rob Kardashian, the first thing Blac Chyna was thinking about was appearing on Keeping Up with the Kardashians show. But like I said, Blac Chyna was always two steps ahead, and she was thinking, I could have my own show with Rob Kardashian. And they did for a couple of years called Rob and China, or I forgot the actual name of it. I did do a video on it on my YouTube channel. I'm Krista Don One. Y'all go check that out. I did I talked about the show, and you can go check out my thoughts back then, and my thoughts have not wavered or changed about that. And in the beginning, Blac Chyna thought that the Kardashians were going to make appearances on her show, where Kim will make an appearance, Chloe will make an appearance, the mom will make an appearance, Bruce Jenner, before the transitional phase, was going to make an appearance, and it just never happened. That show only lasted 2 seasons or a season and a half, and then Rob just did not want to do it, because before the show and before people knew that Rob got Blac Chyna pregnant, everything was okay. I mean, they had an average relationship with one another. But the thirst of being popular and letting everyone know about their relationship. And like I said, Rob Kardashian was a very private dude, and he thought Blac Chyna was going to be private about their relationship. I don't know why he thought that. And, you know, you started hearing good and bad things about this relationship. And to the point to where the Kardashians, um, you know, got into their relationship and started talking about different things, like she cheated on Rob Kardashian or something like that. It just made the relationship difficult to the point where Blac Chyna was just a baby mama to Rob Kardashian. And that pretty much killed that relationship between Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian. But nevertheless, Blac Chyna, it wasn't all doom and gloom for Blac Chyna. Blac Chyna started building other things in her portfolio, her business portfolio. She had a makeup. She still has a makeup line. I think she used to have a hair weave or a wig line. She still does Fashion Nova. She's a Fashion Nova model. She makes a lot. She makes tons of money there. With public appearances, she make money doing that as well. And OnlyFans, she even does OnlyFans. And as well as trying to do her own music. Blac Chyna, does well and with her YouTube channel and things of that nature, and that's when social media was really popping. Okay, so Blac Chyna was getting her boss chick hustle on, um, with this recent popularity of now. Underground people always knew who Blac Chyna was. Now Blac Chyna is integrated in mainstream entertainment and television, and now, you know, uh, you know, people that would would normally not associate themselves to World Star or what's going on YouTube or what's going on social media. Blac Chyna started to become a household name. All right, so that was that. Now, during this time, you know, she was still using the Kardashian name to ink a lot of these deals and to build her wealth and her population, popularity. Excuse me, not population, popularity, and that didn't sit well with the Kardashians. The Kardashians took her to court. It was a well publicized court. She even talked about that, how, in the beginning, she was trying to fight it. But when she started doing the math and doing the numbers, it was really killing her financially. So she wanted to hurry up and deaden that very quickly And that's from her point of view. She wanted to deaden that in this quickly. If you look at the articles and the reports, she has a judgment against her by the Kardashians because the Kardashians won. Okay, so now she can no longer use their name. But Blac Chyna did a lot of amazing things while she was going through those trials and tribulations. You know, she started pushing her reality show to the Zeus network, and that spawned the Blac Chyna show. She also started to build her relationship with her mother, Tokyo Tony, and gave her a show on the Zeus network. Um, and she's doing that. I don't think the Blac Chyna show is as popular as Bad Girls Club and Natalie Nunn and all that stuff, but it's just something to add to the uh through this application, because you have to pay like $4.99 a month, and you got to have something in between Bad Girls Club and Natalie Nunn. Why not have the Blac Chyna show? People would watch it if it's there. So she's getting very making numbers doing that. I don't, people really don't talk about Blac Chyna and the things that she has done. And people could just take a page from the chances she took, and a lot of these chances were paid off very well for Blac Chyna. Now, of course, uh, the Kardashians taking her to court. Of course, that did not work in her favor. Okay, so Blac Chyna is doing that now. You know, uh, Blac Chyna even once said that she made like $100 million off of OnlyFans. And I did a video on that on my YouTube, shameless plug. I'm Chris Downwood. You go check that video out, that live stream out for yourself. And I even said that I think a lot of these numbers that a lot of these girls say that they do on OnlyFans, some of these numbers are over exaggerations. I don't think they made $100 million. Blac Chyna made a lot of. I feel like Blac Chyna made some good money on OnlyFans. Um, and she started talking about how she was also in that same timeline. She talked about how she couldn't keep up with all the cars. She had to let some of her cars go. She had to downsize her lifestyle a bit. Um and that was at the same time frame when she talked about she made over $100 million on OnlyFans. Okay. Um and when she started to downsize, and she had some failed attempts in relationships, she got pregnant again. And it didn't work out with that guy. She was involved with another guy that allegedly Tokyo Tony, and he showed the receipts of Tokyo Tony DMing him. And she wanted some of that action. Okay. um, but yeah, uh, you know, you know, she had some interesting relationships with with different guys, and I feel like her choices in life, if you want to call them bad choices, I feel like it pointed her into being a little bit more religious. Particularly when she downsized, when her life, she's not in the lifestyle of the rich and famous no more. She has to consolidate and downsize even more. She even talked about getting rid of her BBL, her face filters, her Botox. She got rid of a lot of that stuff. Started working out heavily, um, and working out physically, but also preparing herself spiritually and embarking on being very religious. She got baptized. I even talked about that. She got baptized. She got rid of a lot of tattoos that implied Satan. She got rid of those off her body. So, um, we're now pretty much ending the phase out of Blac Chyna, and now we're being introduced to the actual authentic person, which is Angela White. And now Angela White has just anything that's associated to Blac Chyna is null and void. Angela White, has nothing to do with that stuff. She canceled she deactivated her OnlyFans. Okay, she's just not in that life no more. I don't know about the Blac Chyna show if that's still on Zeus or not. I don't subscribe to Zeus. Someone else will have to tell me in the comment section. But she talks less about that, and she's more into her religious baptism role, as well as being an influencer on a lot of things like her makeup line. She really promotes her makeup line heavily. Okay. And I mean heavily, heavily. And that's what she's putting all her time and resources in, her makeup line, um, and her fashion line. I just recently saw a live stream of hers, talking about her makeup line. She's, doing live streams about, her entrepreneur skills as far as her makeup line and her products. Okay. And she's more religious than ever. She's more spiritual than ever. And Blac Chyna is just a chapter in her past. She's starting a new chapter, um, as Angela White, and now, uh, by if you listen to Blac Chyna, she's she's more open and honest. She's um, more forgiving. Um, and she didn't talk about this in the interview, but she was more, when Wendy Williams went to her demise and her situations and uh, her health problems. Angela White could have kicked her back in at that point. You know, but Angela White, was doing an interview with her and was building Wendy Williams up. She never once tore her down. She had every means and every motive to when back in the day Wendy Williams would kick Blac Chyna's back in heavily, and Angela White wouldn't do that. And you could tell the maturity on Angela White, the growth of Angela White has really changed. She's no longer her alter ego. It's like Darth Vader just died, and we're introduced to Obi-Wan Kenobi or Luke Skywalker. Okay, if I'm using comic book and movie phrases, uh, you know, and she could have had every reason. There was probably people saying, "Well, you know, Wendy Williams deserved it because when Angela White, well, Blac Chyna, aka Angela White, was at her lowest. Wendy Williams never got off from her, so she could do the same thing with Wendy Williams, and she didn't do that. She was very forgiving, very honest. She was very emotional and moved by Wendy Williams and her situation. And she, she was building up Wendy Williams, and that was a very emotional moment for Wendy Williams and Angela White. And I feel like if that was Blac Chyna of 10 years ago, you know, I feel like, and there was no growth or maturity in her, and there was like a lot of vinegar in her, a lot of spitefulness in her. She would have took that moment to kick um, Wendy Williams, you know, down. And if Wendy Williams from 10 years ago was the same Wendy Williams like 10 years ago. She would do the same thing to Blac Chyna if she was going through these circumstances. Okay. But that showed a lot of maturity from Angela White's perspective. And it just goes to show you she's just a different person. She's living in a different outcome. So you have to applaud Angela White. And like I said in the beginning of this live stream, Angela White, okay, look, I'm not saying what she did was wrong. I'm not here to judge anybody. In retrospect, I'm not here to judge anybody's trials and situations. I feel like as human beings, we grow and mature by the situations that we come from. These situations are going to make us the very worst or the very best. And I think a lot of people judge people on the situations that they find themselves currently in. And, a lot of people, when they judge basically they judge a person on what other people think of that person, not necessarily their thoughts or their perspectives. If 100 people say this person was a bad person, and you just walk into the room, you saw all these 100 people saying this person was a bad person, then you're gonna likewise join the fray and say, yeah, that's a bad person. Okay. But occasionally you got that small minority group that will walk in a room and then they'll be asking themselves, okay, why is this person bad? Okay. Do this person realize what they did was wrong? Is this person do they realize this person is working through their mistakes? Do people realize that this person that went through these mistakes or went through these situations, they have grown and matured and evolved into something different that is better? Do these 100 people know that? Do these 101 people know that? Okay. So you can't really judge a book by its cover. Even though the motto is you can judge a book by its cover. Uh, well, you cannot judge a book by its cover. You really have to read the context inside the book to determine whether or not this person is a good person or a bad person. Good people can make bad mistakes in life, or make uh, good people can go down a different path that's not the traditional path that everyone else went down, but still come out very successful. There you have it. So, uh, I'm gonna link the article as well as the YouTube channel. You guys can watch it at your leisure. I thought it was a fantastic interview. The interviewer allowed um, Angela White to speak freely, didn't interrupt her, just let her speak her mind and say her piece. And I like that. Didn't do a lot of pushbacking. There's a time and a place for everything. That's one thing when you interview somebody and they're not solely telling the truth. They're just telling the stuff that they deem that's going to make them look good. And sometimes you have to push people in a place where, no, just tell the whole story. Don't just tell different versions of the story. Just tell the whole story and let the people decide for themselves. You know, but this interview and there was no need for the interviewer to even interrupt Angela White, because Angela White was forthtelling. She told it like it is, not like it was. And hey, it just seems like uh it seems like she's learning from her mistakes. She's grown and she's matured. And let's not call, you know what, I hate calling people's backgrounds or their history mistakes. Let's just say it like this. I think she's learning from her history, and learning through her history, she is evolving into a totally different person and welcoming a new chapter and a new perspective and a new thought of this person. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So yeah, that's all I got for that. Um, you didn't think I was gonna take that long talking about it, but hey, it is what it is. All right. Um, some quick news and notes. I follow Miss B Nasty, and she tweeted something yesterday, and basically she was implying what people, what you know, she was asking people what other things they want to see her do. That's basically what the tweet was, and to me, I tweeted back at her. Um, Either I tweeted back at her or someone um recommended this tweet to her. I don't think it was a very popular tweet. I think someone tweeted this, and I retweeted it, and I kind of co-signed with it. And I've been saying this for a long time, but I miss Be Nasty. Um, and the tweet was, really, Miss Be Nasty. I wish you could just do your own podcast because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of interesting things in your life that people can learn from, um, so they can be better at that part of their life. From the perspective and I'm not talking about be nasty as a sex worker or doing corn or OnlyFans. There's a lot of things that Be Nasty does, that Miss Be Nasty does. Um, it's not in that realm of conversation. And I feel like she's one of those interesting people that if they did their own podcast, there's a lot of people out there that have podcasts. To me, they're really not that interesting. And they just say what would make everyone happy instead of just being open and honest. There's only a few people that are exceptions to the rule. I really think like Joe Button says what he's thinking. Joe Rogan says what he is thinking, good, bad, or indifferent. Same thing with Joe Button. I feel like there are a few podcasters out there that, you know, just speak from their mind and not speaking from a script. And I feel like Miss B Nasty could be one of those personalities that's, that's going to speak their mind. And I think her having her own podcast will be dope. It will be dope as hell. You got to understand, she has connections with the industry that she's already in. Plus, she has connections with other people in other different types of fields and situations and things of that nature. Okay, so yeah, I was speaking from that perspective, but hey, I thought that would be pretty dope of her if she do that. So yeah, that's just news and notes. That's pretty much it. We done spent the whole hour talking. I really do appreciate and thank the people that came in, came out, that watched me live. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. To my graveyard shift, the shift is you're an hour away for your shift to be done. It's done, son. And I really do appreciate you sharing an hour of your shift, graveyard crew, to listen to Too Early for This Podcast live. To the people who are just now, who got up, they probably out and about and doing their day. I hope you have a fabulous day. Hope you get whatever you get done. I really do appreciate you spending some time with Too Early for This Podcast live. To the people that watch the re-air of this, I'd like to thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, last couple of episodes are doing some numbers. All right, so I really do appreciate that. From the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate that. All right. Hope everyone have a lovely weekend. Some of you are already starting your weekend. Some of you, your holiday weekend won't start until Saturday, but it probably won't end until Tuesday morning. All right. So I hope everyone has a safe and productive holiday weekend. Uh, if you drink, do not drive. Um, you know, be safe out there because I'm telling you, there's some opportunists out there that would, that will rob you for your jewels and for your money. So just be careful. Just keep your head on a swivel when you're moving around. That's best I can tell you. All right. So it's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from Goat to Ghost. It's your boy, Get the Dime One. I'll see you guys next Friday for another fabulous rendition of Killing What It Is podcast. I'm up out of here, guys. I'll see you guys later. Deuces. Deuces. And I'm gone. Deuces.